Hello, we're back with lovely Linda here in Chandler, Arizona. Say hello, Linda.
Hello.
And as promised, we ripped out our lantana. Linda was very anxious to get this done, so she ripped them out, and she's already got a couple of holes dug. And as we discussed in our previous video, we wanted to do some ground cover roses, so she ordered some drift roses from the Home Depot. They mailed them here for her.
Yep.
And she also got a couple of pots, so we'll probably do the pots in a separate video. And in this video, we'll show kind of how she had to go through with the HOA to get approval, planting this little drift rose, and we'll get a close-up on her irrigation system here that was very close to her old lantana, so we've got it open and we can see it now. So yes, so Linda, she did some research on the drift roses. How did that go?
The website was very informative. It's a very hardy little rose bush, so I'm very excited about getting these in. And when you go on that website and you look at those landscape pictures, oh my, they are going to be so nice here. So I can hardly wait for, for a couple years from now to see how much they have filled out.
Yeah, and so to get these drifts, so drift, I've seen them I've gotten one in Barrage, but they only had one color at Barrage. So I did, and Barrage Nursery is a local nursery. They have a lot of roses here. But because Linda wanted certain colors,
Right.
they sell them through like Home Depot and Lowe's. However, they don't just have them sitting there, so you had
Right.
to order them online. You had to check it out online and order them. So Linda did her research on that.
Yep.
And did her online shopping, and they were shipped here, packaged here, straight to her house. She didn't have to go into the nursery or anything.
No, and they did mail only. You could not have them shipped to the store and pick them up at the store, which was fine with me. They packaged them very well, didn't have any damage. There wasn't dirt all over the place. They did a really good job at packaging.
Yep.
So even though the UPS or FedEx, I forget which it was, kind of beat up the boxes a bit, the rose survived.
Yeah. Yep. So they probably came straight from whatever nursery they were being grown in, and they look pretty good. They were blooming. We can zoom in on that and show you, but they look fairly good. There's some insect damage on it, but no big deal. They won't be.
Yeah.
We're in a different yard, so they shouldn't be here, and we can always just pre-treat them.
Plus, when I saw that, I went ahead and sprayed them.
Yeah.
Hoping I didn't see anything, but I went ahead and sprayed anyway.
Yeah, and I think whatever did that damage probably didn't live on the plant, so I think you're probably okay, but it never hurts to spray them.
Yep, that's how I felt.
All right, so besides that, you submitted your submittal to the HOA.
Yes. They require that anything that you're putting in your front yard, that they need to review it and approve it. The HOA here, they have a certain form, and I need to supply pictures as to what I'm going to be doing. So I submitted previous, and then I did proposed, and I superimposed a picture of the rose so they could see. The HOA in my subdivision only goes through this 2 times a month, and that's the first Tuesday and the third Tuesday of every month. So I submitted on a Friday. They reviewed them on November 2nd, November 3rd, I think it was, and then they notified me the next day that it's approved. And I'm required to have that orange permit that they give in the window while I'm doing all of this. And then I submit it back to the HOA saying it's all completed and I'm finished. So, and I'll probably send a picture along with it just so they know and can document what I did with the HOA. There was no fee. It was just a formality of going through the paperwork. So, if anybody in this neighborhood says anything, they know what's going on.
And I think from Linda's very detailed submittal to the HOA, we can tell Linda's an overachiever. I'm sure she could have done a little bit less work and still gotten it. It's not a very big deal to be planting some landscape roses, and then also for the pots. The pots were probably the bigger deal
That's it.
for the HOA. But some HOAs, don't. They actually do have certain plants that you're allowed to plant in your front yard, and sometimes roses aren't listed. So, I mean, and that's just in case somebody says something. So it just will vary by HOA. But
Yeah, I was very fortunate the HOA here did not have that restriction. And I called up back when we did the Lantanas.
Yep.
When we were videoing that, I went and called and asked them if there was any restrictions. So they didn't have any restriction on what plants I could put in, so it was full steam ahead with it.
Okay, so we are permitted, set to go, and in this video we're going to show, like I said, planting the drift roses, and we'll take a look at her irrigation setup.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
So here's one of the spots that we took out the lantana. You can see we've got our shovel that Miss Linda already dug her hole with, and then the 2-gallon drift rose next to it, the planting mulch, and you can see in her window that orange permit that she has to display for the HOA, and the 2 pots that we will be putting more drift roses in those pots. Here, this irrigation line. So one thing with these irrigation lines is they're never deep. You can see how shallow that is, and you have no clue where they run these things. So if you've got an irrigation line in your yard, do be careful. So Linda almost hit it. Did you hit the other one, Linda? No.
Oh, this one right here?
Yep.
Yes, I did. I had to.
So luckily Linda did not hit the main line. She did hit this little, I guess, drip line. This is the little, I guess, service, if you want to call it that. Okay. So here, this was the, I guess, the little service lateral drip line that was servicing the lantana that we pulled out. Well, she pulled out. I didn't do it. And she did redo the head. So before they were 1 gallon per hour emitters, so she changed it out to be a 2 gallon per hour emitter. And they make, these are very cheap, and they make a bunch of different sizes that will fit onto this little plastic lateral. So if we find that these aren't getting enough water, she can always try a different size head. Original premise and idea of this was to see if we could do minimal changes, take out the lantana, and have this little hardy drift rose grow in its stead. So I don't want her to change too much about her irrigation, and I want to see if it'll work, and if not, we can always figure out either a different head or a different time cycle for her irrigation to come on. So she's got this hole dug, and we'll just check the size. This is a 2 gallon pot, and I think it's going to be deep enough, but we probably want to have just a little bit more wider of a hole. Not too much. We obviously can't go any more here, so maybe just a little bit more around the back, and this should be good to go. We'll use this grow mulch. It is a planting mulch. This is much different than a potting soil. We will use the potting soil for the pots, but for the hole here itself, we do want to use the planting. And for a really detailed video of how to plant roses, I do have how to plant a container rose, or meaning a rose that comes in a container, not a bare root rose. I do have that up on my channel if you would like to check that out. This is the location of the other lantana that was here, right in front of this really big cactus. And so here she's, and I think this is probably too shallow and probably too narrow. So we'll dig this out a little bit more. That way we've got a good amount dug out, and you can see here where she hit her little drip line lateral, and so this is all new. So not too hard to fix, much better than hitting the main line. Don't hit the main line. So we will get these dug in. we saturated it. We'll water the oleander. We can kind of check out how fast it's receding. There we can. So it's going down pretty fast. So this looks like pretty good, well-drained soil here, Linda. I think the rose will like it. It looks good. So we got the mulch up around it, and we'll take the native, fill it all the way to the top, and we'll make, even though Linda's got this drip and she's going to irrigate with the little drip hose, I'm still going to make a little basin for her, because we're going to use the hose, and for at least the first 3 days we'll water this with the hose just to establish it and kind of compact the soil. So that is our next steps. Oh, it looks so cute. Okay. We can just let the hose sit on this about 20 minutes. Give us enough time to dig our other hole, plant our other plant, and then we'll probably just switch the hose. So here we have the first drift rose that we planted for Linda. It is a popcorn drift rose. We have mulched it up, got the berm, got all the rock readjusted. We covered up the irrigation line and then the little irrigation service going to the rose. So this is looking pretty good, should fill in pretty good for Linda. And here is the second one. We've got it mulched and the berm made as well. This is also a lemon drift rose, or not a popcorn drift rose. And this should fill in quite nicely for Linda, and we will be doing a follow-up video to see how these roses are performing for Linda, so please stay tuned for that. Thank you.